G'day and welcome to my garage.
Well, there we have it. Joined, beautiful. Little bit of slop in there to allow any misalignment or whatever. I will confess, but you'll notice there's only one rivet, riveted over pin on this side, and there's one on this side, and oh look, I've ground that back nice and smooth. I just ground it back because I was angry with it. I broke the drill bit, but since it's not falling out, I just cleaned it up a bit, and the drill bit will stay in there until the day it wants to fall out. In the meantime, it's performing a very good function. I do know that I had managed to drill through the shell on this side and all the way through the oil thread, and it broke when it hit the other side. So and that's because when I drilled through this, I also had drilled into the back side, but not all the way through, and I suspect when I came through this second time, the drill must have hit the side of that hole, not spot on, not the hole itself. Hence, and then it caused it to move and snap, and hey, it works until it falls out. I'm not going to worry about it. Neither should you. Bright Spark here didn't think to check the clearance of this collar underneath here. As this is coming down to close up, just like that. As it's because this travels with that, of course. So as this is coming down, that collar there wouldn't go underneath. So I'm just machining a bit off it to see how we go. And I also had to freehand a because this is now riveted, I had to freehand a pilot hole in the back here to stop this from flopping around in the breeze. So we'll take a bit off. Anyhow, I'll do some measurements and measure this and make sure it clears. All right, bring you back. So you might be able to see there that there's now clearance between this boss here and the plate. You can see that there's still a couple of threads to go, another about 7 mil, 6.5 millimetres to go. We'll say another 6 millimetres. It all adds up. But yes, there's now clearance down in there, and it's less than a millimetre, because that's a millimetre thick. I think it's a mil. Yep, 0.9 of a millimetre, so it just doesn't want to fit down there. But I now have clearance. So, oh, and this broken drill is starting to work its way out. So by the time I get this back out again, I should be able to drill that through without hopefully breaking another drill. I want to put a set screw in here, so I need to, what I want to do is find a centre line through there. I don't have a centre finder compass protractor thingy, so what I'm going to do, I haven't done this, we'll see if it works. That's 38, so half of that is 19. I need a straight edge to go between there. Not quite long enough, but the ruler won't fit, or the scale. So let's put that on the edge there. Put that in like so. Yeah, I know it moved a little bit. And do the same again. Well, this is the one I want in here. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Yeah. Yep, that works. Now, that's about, what's that, 14, so we'll go 7. Go about 5. And we will estimate a mark about, come on. That's very nice. And the line I scribed earlier gives me a line to line up with my little square. I'm using it on the drill press vise. So I should be able to line that up like so. I think that will work. Alright, off to the drill press. That's pretty good. Now, what's going on? Didn't I tighten this drill? Nope. Okay, just need to tap that out to 6mm. Where's my spray? I'll just put a bottoming tap through there because I used a taper earlier. This vice, well, it was second hand when my father gave it to me 40, what are we in now, 2018, 46 years ago. So I'm not too worried about the vice marring the aluminium surface because I still have to clean it up on the lathe. So the point of what I'm saying is the vice jaws have lost their sharp bite many years ago. It will leave a mark, obviously, if you bear down on the handle, but I don't, I just touch it up. Alright, that's that part. Just cleaning up this handle and bringing it to size. I casted this handle along with the other three a number of months ago. Don't ask me how many months, but this outside edge here has to come down to 5mm, and we're currently at 7.8. So 2.8 to come off. There we go, we're at 4.5. So half a mil. 2, 3. Should be pretty close. $5mm spot on. I'll just clean up that inner edge in there, and we're home. Yeah, there's a lot of pot marks in there, gas explosions or whatever they are. There's a lot of those in there. Okay, we're at 20.8. It's a handle. Alright, I'll just clean that up and yeah, continue on. Going to drill a 7mm hole. We'll do it about 40mm thick through, because the handle's 35. We just want to go past it. What do we got? 14 by 5, so I need to bore this out by 14mm wide, 5mm deep. We'll bring you back. Yes, I'm running the lathe backwards, and I'm working on the opposite side. I've done this, I think I may have mentioned it before, I've done it a number of times. It's yeah, it's just easier for me to do that way rather than turn the cross slide around and operate over this side going that way. No, this is a lot easier. Now I have to be 13mm across the nose. Bit light over there. And I'm spot on 13. Here we go. And come on, back out. And there's my piece. I now have to cut some brass tubing to length. I've got the screw, I've got the white one. There's the screw and the washer. That'll come through, and yeah, it'll lock brass tubing will be about 1/2 a millimetre longer, and it'll lock on the brass tubing, and this will be free to spin. Then that'll be the handle done. Beautiful. And then, oh, I've got to mount it to the hand wheel. All right. Well, here we have it. The Universal compound slide. There are some small changes that I did compared to Gingery's book. First one being I slotted the bottom rather than a single hole. I was just trying to get just a little bit more turn out of it. So that's the first change. I'll lock the back one later. The second change is the slots in here. They're a fair bit longer. Again, I was just trying to get more adjustability out of it. I had a milling machine to help me do this, so that worked out fine. As you can see, it goes all the way around to there. It only goes to there, but if I need to bring it around, I just change the position of these two bolts. So that one in the bottom to that side, and opposite on the other side. So yeah, I don't know which way I'm going to do this at the moment. What I do need is between 1 and 2 degrees that way to do a socket, Morse tape with 2 socket in the spindle. So and then they can be locked out. Now this is nice. I can get 100 millimeters of travel without the clamp leaving the ways. Well, 20 millimeters off the front. So actually, I can get 120 if I do it the same way. 20 mil off the front and 20 mil off the back. I can get 120 millimeters of travel. That's enormous, and it moves nice. I've got to lock all the bolts up. It's a lot more rigid than that. I don't know how rigid this is until I get to use it. The tool post is, I didn't go for the lantern tool post, only because I already had this tool post holder from, this is the original one off the lathe, the mini lathe. So, yeah. This is it. This is a lot of work. Considering it is an accessory, it's not a primary component of the milling machine. This turns the mill into a pseudo lathe. How successful that is, yeah, I'll find out soon enough. But this component here, it was a major amount of work. It's the same, slightly smaller, but it's the same as the spindle head. It's got a ways. It has the base, and it's got the sliding component. The only thing it doesn't have is obviously the spindle bore on this thing, but still, for an accessory like the quill support, that was only an accessory. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I used it to obviously drill the spindle, but yeah, and I used it to drill the spindle. I used it to drill the spindle, and I used it to bore the spindle spindle housing. Don't know what I'm going to use that for any time soon. And this, I need this to do the taper in the spindle. And all because my mini lathe won't handle this shaft, this 200mm shaft. Well, it can, but you can't do an internal. There's not enough room on the lathe bed to put a tool in and bore the spindle. That's why I need this, so I can bore the spindle. The mini lathe can't handle it. So there we go. Yeah. Next job is to work out a way of copying this, and I'll probably mount this onto the spindle with the drawbar through the end, pulling that in tight, and then with the dial gauge copying the taper of this Morse 2, copying it with the compound swivel, lock it in place,